But this time, Goku started to understand, and hopefully now, you do too. After watching episode 114, there was still one bothersome thing leaving a bad taste in your mouth. The power scaling was horrible, but it was actually done on purpose. They were trying to prove to you that something awesome was happening to Goku. The fight was on. Goku hadn't felt this much excitement in a while. For once, it seemed he was fighting just for the thrill of getting stronger. But something was off. He hadn't yet subscribed, as he proved himself strong enough to keep up against the two girls. He also left a question eating away at your brain. Why was turning on the notifications quicker than Ultra Instinct? And how was it possible to one moment be unable to handle an out-of-control Kale as Super Saiyan Blue, and the next be holding back a more powerful, controlled Kale, plus Caulifla as only Super Saiyan 2? Caulifla questioned if this could be the same Super Saiyan 2 she had fought against before. To find out, she'd have to watch the stories of her favorite animes till the very end like the Anifam. The power scaling seemed all out of whack. Goku could barely make a single muscle move after his fight versus Jiren. But now, with only the small amount of energy Frieza had given him, he found himself faced with another fight already. It was clear he would be overpowered in his condition, but something was telling him that this was the right thing to do. Like his instincts were saying she had something to offer. The fight began, leaving Goku more confused than ever. He actually had the upper hand? Caulifla missed time after time to make contact. Why had his instincts told him to fight this girl? The sparks of electricity shone brightly around her body. Goku was sure of it. The power that had impressed him so much before was still there inside of her, but his body was so beaten down, he couldn't even get out of base form. Why was she struggling? But as he laughed at the weakness she was showing, her anger started rumbling like thunder inside her, and she quickly reminded him who she was. He made it clear that it didn't matter how weak he was. It was time to get serious. No more holding back. Before he knew it, she was reading his movements, catching his punches. Now he understood why his instincts wanted to fight with her. Her ability to adapt was helping him push his limits. It didn't take long before he went Super Saiyan. Something was happening to Goku. The feeling was strange. Even he was surprised at how little time passed before he could reach Super Saiyan 2. What was it about her that was helping him regain his energy so fast? His mind was telling him that this was nothing but training, but it seemed his body was telling him that it was much more dangerous than that. The memory of Kale overpowering his Super Saiyan Blue form strangely flickered in his mind. Now the time had come. Goku had healed his body enough to just barely pass Caulifla's power, but that wasn't enough. He needed to go further. The more danger, the better. Something made him notice a certain rock behind Caulifla. Standing there was Kale. What had made him want to look at that rock? Goku wondered if his instincts were once again telling him who would help him heal. He called out to Kale. It was her turn to join in on the action. Turned out Goku wasn't the only one learning during this Saiyan battle. Kale decided she was finally gonna give it her all. Watching her go berserk again made the memory of his first encounter with Kale even more real. His body shook at her immense amount of power. This feeling was very familiar to him. It was something that he had learned long ago to control. The only way to surpass his own limits was to push this feeling away. It was the instinct that told him to run each time a being with much more power than his own came along. Smiling, he overcame it once again. But he quickly learned that this was not her limit. He watched in disbelief as she took control over the monster that had appeared. Her energy increased even more, but as he fought the two of them together, his protective instinct spiked higher and higher. His body became faster and stronger. Dodging their attacks was easier than before. He could see his victory was near, but they fooled him. Caulifla's continuous attacks were made impossible to escape by the strength of Kale's arms holding him back. Was he really this weak still? He had thought his power had increased more than this. The scaling between their powers seemed broken and out of control. Another punch in the stomach brought confusion and doubt to his mind. Maybe nothing had changed. If Kale had stood up to his Super Saiyan Blue form before, then it only made sense for the gap between their powers to be even bigger now. Here she was with the control of her immense energy, while he couldn't even tap into his God Ki yet. The wall of his instincts grew higher and higher with each blow he took, and then, like a fist breaking through a brick wall, he struck through the instincts protecting him. The tables had turned. Goku slammed Kale into the ground. They had increased his stamina to a new level again, and now, the return of the fire of his God Ki began to burn within him. They attacked from both sides, but it was all for nothing. His counterattack sliced through their beams of energy and headed straight for the source. Kale struggled to hold back but had now turned into God energy. She won her battle to push it off, but Caulifla wasn't so lucky. The rage of his Super Saiyan instincts had reached an all-time high, almost to the point that he could feel his mind trying to slip away. The thrill of his power told his body to track Caulifla's movements until she was finally caught. With only one of the girls able to fight, Goku stood above them. He congratulated them on how far they had gotten against his unbeatable power. The cockiness of the Super Saiyan form was overpowering within him, something that Kale and Caulifla were ready to tear down. They pulled out a pair of secret earrings, and as he watched them fall to their unavoidable unavoidable elimination, a curious green light appeared. Something was coming for him. This fight had thrown his thoughts and powers in every direction it could. One minute his instincts had him dodging their attacks easier and easier with every movement. The next, they were the ones holding him back, like his instincts had suddenly fallen off the map. He had no idea what to think as she flew past him with a speed he couldn't understand. Was he getting stronger? Or was that dreadful moment being repeated over and over again? The memory of his highest form, overcome by Kale, just wouldn't stop coming back. But as she sent him flying into the ground, with the new intensity of her fused punch, that instinct inside him started to grow once again. But this time, Goku started to understand. And hopefully now, you do too. After watching episode 114, there was still one bothersome thing leaving a bad taste in your mouth. The power scaling was horrible, but it was actually done on purpose. They were trying to prove to you that something awesome was happening to Goku. The ability these girls had to adapt so quickly made them the perfect opponent to quickly regain his strength. This made it so she could surpass each new level he reached as he healed, proving to his instincts that this was more than just some ordinary training. With the tiny amount of energy he had started off with, his subconscious had considered Caulifla's Super Saiyan 2 energy a very real danger to his life. This threw his protective instincts into full gear. And much like the first time he obtained any of his Super Saiyan forms, the innate fear of losing his life overtook anything else, forcing him to increase his energy and gain new strength that his body didn't originally have. He didn't know it, but his instincts were becoming sharper, even more so than before the moment he obtained Ultra Instinct. And then he tasted it. The faint power of Ultra Instinct began to make its appearance known again. Kefla had done it. Was it wrong that he wanted to thank her? She had thrown his body into the same mode it had reached when his fight with Jiren had almost come to an end. Only with her ability to make his instincts believe his life was in danger would he be able to bring Ultra Instinct back. The power scale kept proving that these two fighters were continuously going over and under the other's newfound strength. Kefla had clearly overcome even his Super Saiyan God Ki. No longer did the memory of Kale's strength haunt him. Now it was something even worse. The unimaginable strength that Goku had not been able to overcome. Jiren had taken himself out to meditate, but to Goku, his presence was still very much alive. The worrisome thought distracted him from the fight in front of him, leaving his body to fight Kefla on its own, while his mind observed each move that he would make in a rematch he was sure Jiren couldn't avoid. The balance within him started to shake, slowly ripping apart the fabric that connected his mind and body. All the time she had confused his instincts had now transformed him into the perfect warrior, and at that moment a new shaking appeared. Kefla's rage boiled over.